Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about all of the things that I hope to read in February. I have a couple of little reading vlogs that I'm very excited for, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So when I first started my channel almost a year ago now, I think my first ever reading vlog was reading romance only for a week, and I want to do that again, especially with Valentine's happening. So that is the first reading vlog that I'm going to be doing in February, and the first little TBR that I have. Romance is a genre that I don't read a lot of, and I'm still trying to figure out things that I like within the genre and authors that I like within the genre, and just trying to explore it a lot more. So that's another reason that I'm really excited to do this video. So I was trying to pick romances off of my TBR, obviously, but I only had 4 romance books on my TBR. So if you guys like to read romance and you have any recommendations, or you have a favorite romance that you think I might like, go ahead and leave that in the comments, and if I can, I'll try to squeeze it in, because I would like to read 5 books for that blog, but I don't have a 5th book. So if you have a recommendation, leave it down below for me. But I have 2 books for that are coming off of my physical TBR, which we love. The first one is A Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is an author that I've enjoyed before. Love Hypothesis I gave 4 stars, and then Love Theoretically I gave 3.5 stars. And The Love Hypothesis was a book that I picked up fully expecting to hate, like was thinking that I was going to give it 2 or even 1 star, and I really enjoyed it. So to come out with a 4 star from that book was very surprising and very like a happy moment for me. So I'm really hoping this will be another win for me, but we will see. This is another like STEM based romance, so I'm not really sure anything else about the plot other than that. This next one I am super excited for. That is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I don't know how you pronounce that. But I have seen this book everywhere. The plot sounds so intriguing to me. It plays with time. There's like this apartment that this girl lives in, and in the apartment there's like a man that's like stuck 7 years in the past or something, but she can only see him in the apartment, and then they like develop a romance. I don't know. It sounds absolutely fascinating to me, and I know this author has a new book coming out this year, which sounds very intriguing. So I'm hoping that this will be a win for me and I can pick up her new release when that comes out. But this I've heard absolutely fantastic things from, even from people that don't read a lot of romance like myself. They're still giving this 4 or 5 stars. So I'm really excited to give this one a try. Then I scoured my Goodreads TBR for some other romances that I could read for this, and the first one is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McKiston. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I know she's very popular. I think she wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, and then One Last Stop, which are very popular romances. I personally haven't read either of them, but I know they are very well loved in the romance community. So this is a YA romance, and it's LGBT, and I think it's just about this girl that like kisses Shara Wheeler, and then she like disappears, so now she's kind of like left figuring things out. I'm not entirely sure, but it sounds interesting, and I'm very excited for that one. And then the next one also is YA and also is LGBT, and that is Forget Me Not by Allison Derrick. This one, once again, I'm not entirely sure about the plot. All I know is that it's gay and that it's a YA romance, and I think there is some sort of amnesia or some form of memory loss that takes place in this book. I've heard it's a really sad romance, so we'll see how that one goes. But once again, if you guys have a recommendation for a 5th book that I can read for this video, please leave it down below, and hopefully I'll be able to squeeze it in. The next reading vlog that I have planned for February is actually the first episode in a series, the first ever reading vlog series that I'm doing on this channel, and I'm so excited for it. It's gonna start next month in February, and it's gonna go all the way until December, 1 episode per month. I'm not gonna give you guys too much information about what that actual series is, but I will give you a couple books off of the TBR. I'm gonna be reading 6 books for that video. One of them is from my physical TBR as well, and it is The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren. If you guys have watched any of my videos before, you've probably heard me talk about this author. I have only read 2 books from him, but they both ended up in my top 10 from last year. I think he's an absolutely fantastic horror author. This book is about these 2 girls, I think they're sisters, and they go to this like island for a vacation, and then there is something lurking in the woods or the forest there or something. Actually, that's a lie. Okay, so it is 2 sisters, and they go on a trip to Thailand, and then they get stranded on a deserted island with no radio and no food. So they have to try to survive, and then they find something within the jungle that wants to kill them. So I'm very, very excited for this one. If it's anything like David Sodergren's books that I've read in the past, this will be a 5-star. Like, I don't even have to read it. Like, I can just rate it 5 stars and move on. But that is the first book off of that TBR for that vlog. Then for that vlog, I'm also going to be reading Head Like a Hole by Andrew Van Way, which I've had my eye on for a really, really long time. I think the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Do I know what the plot is? No. But we're gonna be reading it, and I'm really excited. And also for that video, I'm going to be reading The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft, which is a short story. And if you really think hard about it, this book will tell you what that video is, and it'll tell you what that series is going to be. So we'll leave it at that. Moving on, I have a couple other random books that I want to squeeze in February if I can. The first one is Have Spacesuit Will Travel by Robert Heinlein. I have really been in a sci-fi mood recently. This book has been on my physical TBR for a while. I have enjoyed this author's work in the past, although has it aged well? Not really. There are definitely some questionable things in some of his books. But I've just been really like into sci-fi recently and really itching to pick up like some classic or some older sci-fi. So I really want to squeeze this one in. I wanted to squeeze it in January, but I don't think I'll have time. So we're going to push it off to February, but I'm very, very excited to read this one. This is another book that I have to push off because I wanted to read it in January, but I had so many other books to read. A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series, and I'm very, very excited to read this one after reading A Court of Mist and Fury and the way that that ended. I'm really, really curious to see what happens in this book. I've heard a lot of people say that this is like their favorite in the series. So I'm really hoping that I can get to it. And it's pink. Like, it's pink. I have to read a pink book in February, right? Like, come on. And last but not least, one other book that I have planned to read, I'm actually going to listen on audio on Spotify, and it is Out There Screaming, which is a horror anthology of Black horror. This is edited by Jordan Peele, and it has a lot of different authors in it. Most of them I've never read from or heard of before, but there are some authors like Erin E. Adams that I've read from before. Her book Jackal was in my top 10 last year. Tananarive Due, Rebecca Roanhorse I've never read from, but I have heard of her work, so I'm very, very excited to read that one. I love a little anthology short story collection, and it's edited by Jordan Peele. Like, that's freaking amazing. But with all of that being said, that is sort of some rough plans for February. There's definitely a lot of books that I'm 100% going to read for those videos that I mentioned, but some other fun things that I want to throw in there as well. So that's pretty much it. I know this was a short video, but thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys next time.